Welcome to all new Look Back in Amber, from exclusive interviews to interesting inside insights. It's the official place to be for all of us Newport County fans. Coming up in the next 60 minutes, we've got the Gaffer in. I'm Lamsie. I've got questions about Graham's playing career and his time with the club so far.
I'm Stephen, and I want to find out about his first steps into management and his reflections on the 2022-23 season.
I'm Luke, and with the help of your questions, I'll be digging deep into the transfer window so far and asking about pre-season planning.
Never miss out. Subscribe to this podcast, or make sure you listen live at 3 p.m. on a Sunday and at 7 p.m. on a Wednesday after all League 2 home matches.
Right here.
Right here.
Right now.
Right now.
Newport City Radio.
Oh, it's so nice to be back. Look Back in Amber, the 2023-24 season is just about to begin. With us in the studio is staying quiet but maybe talking is Louis. He's spoken this time. This is good. I think we got a hello off him last time. Media manager from Newport County, and the Gaffer's in. Graham, how you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for coming in. We're going to hopefully ease you in with a couple of nice questions, loads of listener questions, some silly stuff as well. Our favourite question to start off with is, when did you become aware of the game of football?
Probably from being a young kid, out my back garden, kicking up football on the streets, or maybe the first time I smashed a window of one of the neighbours. But I think really, and honestly and genuinely, it was when Jack Charlton arrived in Dublin, in Ireland, and he made us realise that there was more than one sport with a football to be played, because throughout our school years it was always GAA, Gaelic. We weren't really a big hurling school, but hurling was obviously our national sport along with Gaelic, GAA. But when Jack Charlton arrived, we almost instantly fell in love with him, and to qualify for our first championships in 1988, the Euros, was unbelievable, and the way he just lifted the whole country was special. And I think we all, not just myself, but I think anybody around the same age as myself in Ireland would have fell in love with the game there and then.
Your youth days then, did you join a local football club? Is that how it worked for you?
Well, I was into everything really, to be honest. As I say, GAA, I was always into GAA. I was into my boxing, I was into the hurling, I was into soccer as well. So now I tended to, from school, the school tends to push it towards the GAA, the nuns and the priests that you have in the school, they push you that way. It was either GAA, Gaelic or the boxing. But like I say, when Jack Charlton came across, football clubs, football teams started sprouting up everywhere in the country. And I suppose you just you just get picked up. You go, I guess you go on trials, and maybe you kick a football and you have a little bit of talent and you get selected. The rest is history, really. But I can't emphasise how important Jack Charlton was for football, and particularly someone around my age, learning the game and just seeing that there was a different sport with a round ball to be played. It was unbelievable when we realised we could actually kick it along the ground and we could kick it into nets and we couldn't pick it up with our hands. It was just surreal. It was unbelievable. But because you got to remember, back then we didn't have TVs. There was no Sky Sports or BT Sports or any of them media outlets either. So we were pretty restricted in what we could see, what we could view, what we could watch. But it was. I suppose it was much loved by everybody. But Jack Charlton actually pushed the game on to another level for us.
Stephen will probably know the answer to this one, but it's your interview. Did you ever get to meet Jack?
Well, you might ask Stephen.
Stephen?
To be honest, I'm not sure.
I didn't. No, I never had the pleasure. No, I followed the team many a place, across land and sea. I love following them. I love going to championships and watching them, even at home, Lansdowne Road. But no, I never had the pleasure of meeting him. I met his brother, all right, but never the main man, Jack.
Okay. So football-wise, professional contract.
Where did you get your first professional contract, and how did that come about?
It was Blackburn Rovers. I was playing at Bray Wanderers in Ireland, and I was invited across. I've been across quite a few times, across from Dublin I've gone to Crystal Palace. I've gone to Oldham. I've gone to quite a few clubs, and Blackburn Rovers invited me over. Played a game, went back to Dublin. About 2 months later, I got another phone call, invited back over, played in another game, and then they just asked me would I consider coming across and signing. I was a late bloomer, really. I was probably around 19 at the time. I was working. I'd had a 9 to 5 job. I used to leave my job at 5 o'clock on a Tuesday and a Thursday, jump on a bus and get across the other side of the city to train, and jump on the bus and come home, and you know the usual, you microwave food at 11:30 when you're going, just before you go to bed, and get up at 7 the next morning for work. So it wasn't easy. It was tough, and when a professional football club comes in and asks you to sign professional forms, I grabbed them with both hands, to be fair. So it was a great opportunity.
Was it Ray Harford brought you to Blackburn?
Yeah, Ray and Kenny Dalglish and Ray Harford, they were both at Blackburn. Kenny then stepped down, and Ray took the team on. But Kenny was still a very prominent figure on the training ground. He was on the training ground every day, and he used to take the young uns for sessions. And Ray Harford was probably one of the top coaches we've come across in the game. God rest his soul.
Yeah, we've got a listener's question here. It's from Kelly Anderson and her son Alex. One playing highlight. What are your favourite memories from your playing career, and have you got any funny stories to share?
I know that name from somewhere, Kelly Anderson.
Yeah.
Geez, I'd have loads of stories. I don't think they'd be funny, but favourite memory from my playing career, I suppose it would have to centre around I don't know, playing Sheffield in the Sheffield derbies, maybe. That crowd from a young kid coming across from Dublin to playing for Sheffield Wednesday, Leeds live on telly, live on Sky, the pubs in Ireland. You know, a lot of Leeds fans over there, and the Sheffield Wednesday fan base growing in Dublin. I suppose that would be a highlight. But for me, I don't think I'll ever have a better season, and if any player ever has a better season than I had in 2001-2002 season, where we won League 2 as a player. We kept 28 clean sheets. I was player of the year, and I was actually, believe it or not, I was actually top goal scorer that year.
Top scorer, yeah.
So I also had my first child that year as well, myself and my missus. So that was a special time on and off the pitch for us, really, to be honest. But I really, it was one of them purple patches in your life, in your career, that anything you turn your hand to kind of came off for me, and it was a brilliant individual, personal season, but it was an unbelievable season for Plymouth Argyle as well.
Yeah, so obviously you are a manager. You have been for a good number of years. You started out as a defensive coach, didn't you? At Bristol Rovers?
No, I actually had 8 years at Southend before that, and that's a lot of years to forget, by the way. Yeah, I went with Paul Sturrock in 2010. I'd originally taken the Shrewsbury youth team and the reserve team with Dave Hughes. Paul Simpson was the manager. I was the skipper of the club, and I ended up getting suspended. Not like me as a player. Referee's fault, not my fault. I got suspended, and the youth team were short of a coach, and I was asked to go and help them on the Saturday morning, and I went, and I really enjoyed it. And from then on, we used to take sessions in the afternoon, and we had a really good youth team, some good players. Conor Golston to name one, who's up with Rangers now. John Taylor, obviously. Another one, Tom Bradshaw at Millwall. So we had a lot of really good young kids coming through, and you could realise and see the potential, and just to push them and to help them, to guide them as well was brilliant. Paul Sturrock took a job then at Southend. He didn't tell me where he was going. He just told me to pack my bags and give me a postcode. I'll see you in the morning. And I did not know where I was going, to be quite honest with you. He didn't even tell me. Such was the man and our relationship. So I landed down there, and 8 years later, after that, then I went in Bristol Rovers as defensive coach. They offered me the job then. Darryl departed. They offered me the job, and the rest is history, as they say.
Do you have one particular highlight of your managerial career so far? One that stands out in your mind?
Well, I thought, to be honest, it was a minor miracle what we produced at Bristol Rovers, if I'm being honest. But last season here at Newport County would have been very, very close pushing that, because there were massive jobs that I've taken on, both here and at Bristol Rovers. And to come out the other side of them relatively successful, although I'm only early in at Newport, and I would like a little bit more success. and fingers crossed we can bring that. But I suppose the two achievements, because it's hard to quantify success. I don't think success is all with medals and cups and promotions. I think to keep a team, when Bristol Rovers, we were 7 or 11 points, I can't remember. We were 23rd in the league, and we were virtually, the board had asked me just to steady the ship, just to oversee a relegation. And I was quite adamant, not on my watch, that wouldn't be happening on my watch. And people looked at me and laughed at me. And I remember my first couple of interviews, people were like, well, who does this fella think he is? He's never going to keep us up, so why is he? And we stayed up. We finished 15th. And there was a degree of that last year, I have to be honest. There was a degree of that. Mission impossible. A lot of people had wrote the club off, had wrote the team, the dressing room, the players off. We got a degree of that last year, and thankfully and thank God the players responded and they lifted themselves, and we finished the season strongly.
Well, talking of players, obviously at the moment as we sit here, the transfer window is open. I'm sure you can't wait to get going on talking about all these transfers we've got going on.
Well, I didn't know the transfer window was open, so that's great news.
Well, there's the service that we've provided. It's the number one question that we've had from our listeners. So we always let Luke, because you've met Luke quite a few times now. You know what he's like. He'll keep pounding away at questions. He gets an answer. So Luke's got the first bite of the cherry. Then we're going to let the listeners on you.
So we've signed 4 players so far. Correct me if I'm wrong. Can we expect an announcement in the next couple of days?
Next 45 minutes would be great, Graham.
Yeah. Well, I'll do my best.
Let me, the next 45 minutes.
Let me just take my phone out of my pocket and see what I can produce. Yeah. I'll do my best. 45 minutes.
We said to Graham before we come in the studio, turn your phone off, pop it on silent, switch it back on. We might need it. No.
But yeah, is there anything imminent? Should fans expect an announcement in the next couple of days of a new player or new contract? There's one player left to hear from in club captain Mickey Dimitriou. Is there any announcement on any players coming shortly?
Luke, unless you know something I don't know, please tell me. Please inform me. No, I've not got anything positive at this moment in time to give you on that front. We are in negotiations with a number of players. I do have 1 or 2 in on trial. 1 or 2 may play for us on Saturday as well against Undy, which is positive. The negotiations have not gone as well as I would have liked. So I might need to revisit 1 or 2 things. But at this moment in time, as I sit here, we have nothing imminent or nothing on the horizon, the immediate horizon.
Just quickly before Lamsie comes back in, you mentioned there the Undy game on Saturday. That's almost like a tradition now in the Newport County pre-season. So it's the first game up of pre-season. Are you aware of Undy and the tradition almost that fixture is?
Well, I'm aware it's my first pre-season game and it's at Undy on Saturday. So that's about all I can. I wasn't aware really. We were approached. We had a number of approaches from a number of clubs. And I believe it's Undy allow us to use their ground, their training facility now and again when the weather kicks in. So we felt it was only proper to repay them. It's a great little club. I've been over actually. I've followed them on 2 or 3 occasions. Watched a couple of their games, and I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the games. Really enjoyed. I've actually had a beer with the lads after the game as well in the clubhouse. So. I like getting out and about, and I like mixing and chatting and getting around people, and they've made me feel really welcome when I went over. So I got a nice feel for the football club. So if it is a tradition, I'm glad I can carry that tradition on. But I must emphasise it's my first pre-season game.
Yeah, because I could be wrong, but I think after the game they have barbecues down there. It's normally on a Friday night.
Even more reason to go. Yeah. Barbecue and a beer. Even more reason to go on Saturday.
Alison Davis has asked the question which everybody's asking. I think we've just put it to you. Any other new loan players? We understand that you can't really talk to us about that at the moment because discussions are ongoing. So I'm going to flip Alison's question a little bit and ask you to talk us through the new guys. So the new signings, fresh come into Newport County, not the ones, the youth players that you've just put into professional contracts. We'll come on to that.
No, I wouldn't. And just going back over Luke's question, I'm not trying to skate around the edges or hide anything. If there's something to be told, I'll say it. Jesus, there's no secrets in football nowadays. We are talking, we are hopeful, and we're looking to bring in. And you know, it's at this stage of pre-season, things are not always that positive. But the longer it goes, and the less power, the less bargaining power, and less options players will have. So we're very hopeful that one or two things will come off. But yeah, going on to the new signings. Really pleased with what we've got. Nice balance. One thing I wanted to get into the team was a little bit of pace. Matty Bonswell and Kyle Jemison will add that to us. You know, we will look at the centre forward area. We are negotiating. We are talking to one or two clubs, and that'll probably come closer to the start of the season. But Bryn Morris has probably been our best trainer over the last few days, out with James Waite, Scott Bennett. They've really come back in great shape. But Bryn Morris has certainly come in and made a hell of a difference in there for us. And there was one other, Luke, you'll have to remind me who the other one was.
Nathan Wood from Penabont.
Yes, Woody. Yeah. Woody. Technically, you know, we've had a lot of. He's been one we've watched. Again, like I said earlier on, we get out and we watch the locals and we mix with them and we hear what people are saying. And sometimes I pretend I'm not listening, but I'm actually listening when they're mentioning players. So we actually went out and we watched Woody about 3 or 4 times, and we really liked him. And we just felt he needed an opportunity and a chance to flourish in our environment and without being disrespectful, around better players, around full-time players, around professional players. And he'll give us that creativity in that final third. He can play a number of positions. So he's one I'm excited by. I'm loving the look of Bryn Morris at this moment in time, his leadership and the way he patrols the middle of the park. Kyle Jemison, He's training really, really well. He's a man mountain. His pace is there for all to see. So he just needs consistency, continuity and consistency. And obviously Matty Bonswell, I'm hoping we can get Matty out of the traps and up and down the side of that pitch and delivering balls with his left foot. So, and he'll bring that pace to us on that side of the pitch. A nice bit of competition as well, defensively, midfield, out wide, and hopefully we can add to the competition up front.
With the Welsh League, that's the 4th player that we've signed. We signed James Waite from their pre-C Farquharson. We've signed... Who else have we signed?
Was it Will?
Will Evans, and now obviously Nathan Woods. There's so much talent in that league, isn't there? That hopefully you can untap. Obviously, you said you've been out to see some of the games. What do you think of the league? Because there is a lot of talent out there, as we've proven.
Well, I think you've actually answered the question yourself by naming them 4 lads, the quality of the 4 lads. So and obviously we're delighted that we've come across them. So it shows one thing: our scouting network, our ear to the ground, our contacts. Something is working. So it shows that something is working well. Again, you gotta understand who you're competing with at that level as well, because there's a certain club that are playing in Europe constantly, and they're able to entice players financially. So it is a difficult league to get, and to get the four best players that have come out of the league, probably. I'll have an argument and a debate with anybody, because I think they're 4 really, really decent, good top players, and I think Will Evans and I think Nathan Wood and James Waite, certainly under our guidance, will get better and better and better. I can't wait to see Waite this year. He's absolutely flying in training. He's in pre-season training. So they're not a bad 4 that you mentioned that. So the strength of the Welsh League is there for all to see with those 4 players that you've mentioned.
Yes, we've got another listener's question. Andy Lawrence is asking, you've already answered it to a degree, how is the recruitment going? And how much has the loss of Cameron Norman and Aaron Lewis changed your plans?
My idea at the back end of the season, or working with this group last year, was to build upon what we had, what we'd built already with this group, build upon that. I wasn't best pleased, I have to be honest. I was frustrated, I was annoyed, I was angry. I went through all the emotions. I wasn't best pleased, and that's me being mild. So yeah, it's not ideal. It's not great, and I didn't like it. But at the end of the day, it's a great challenge. It's made my job a little bit harder, if that's possible, to be honest. But look, it's a challenge. It's one we're all looking forward to. And again, we can't control what the players want or where they're going or how they see their futures. That's up to them. All we can do is do what we've done. One, I will defend him, Cameron Norman. He was 110% honest with me from the off. He told me he wanted to move on. He told me he wanted to play at a higher level. It has transpired it's not a higher level, it's League 2, MK Dons. But he was 110% honest with me from day one. And he never ever once left me short in a training session or on the pitch, and I have to take my hat off to him and thank him for that. I wish him well, and I hope he has 2 stinkers when we play him.
Yeah. You spoke earlier about leaders. Who do you see as the leaders in this group of players now?
Well, I see leadership in the changing room. Now, leadership doesn't have to be vocal. Leadership can be performance. At this moment in time, Bryn Morris, Scott Bennett, James Clark are absolutely standing out. Omar Bogle is a natural leader, but Omar would not be the one that will point fingers and roar and shout. He'll do that in the mirror at himself, or he'll do it at me in private, but he's not really the, what would you say, the Brian Robson type of leader or the Roy Keane type of leader. He's more performance based. So Omar is a big leader for us in performance. Benna experience, James Clark experience, Bryn Morris, that experience that he brings. Nick Townsend, the way he trains, the pressure he puts on people. So everybody leads in different ways. But if you're looking for a vocal leader or someone with experience to step up and manage the group, you're probably looking in the region of Benna, Clark, Bryn Morris. If you're looking for a leadership on the pitch in terms of performance, you're probably looking at Omar Bogle.
Simon Rocky said, any departments are you specifically targeting for players? You've mentioned centre forward. Is that the priority at the moment, or?
Yeah. We need strikers, and like I say, and I get this quite a lot when you're over the phone and people ring you. What are you looking for? I say to agents, I say to clubs, anything that will strengthen our team and that will make us better. So if a player cropped up tomorrow and he makes us better and he strengthens our team, we will take him. We will take him in, no problem at all. But you're right, yeah, at this moment in time, I'm probably looking at a centre-half and most definitely 2 centre forwards.
Okay, final question on transfers, because obviously, I say it is the big bit. Shane, our Price has asked us to ask you, can you give youth more than an opportunity this season to progress, not just 10 minutes here or there? So I would class that as a naughty question, so let's break that down a little bit first. Can you give youth more opportunity this season? Is that in your plans, or does it not work like that in your world?
If they're good enough, I'll give them a chance, no problem.
Great. I thought that might be the answer to that one.
Yeah. we saw you kind of give a chance to Keeban Ray. You kind of featured towards the end of the season, didn't he? And so, yeah, I think. Do you think you'll get more opportunities this season?
Yes, he will. Yeah, we've had the just to answer the chap's question. It's very easy give youth a chance, but if the quality and the players are not there, I can't give them a chance. If they're there and they're up to the task, we will give them a chance. Now, we've had 4 or 5 of them in training with us over the couple of weeks of pre-season, so we've opened the door that way. We've opened the door last year. We attend a lot of their training, we attend a lot of their games, and let me rest assured, if the kids are good enough and they deserve opportunity and deserve chance, they'll get a chance from myself. But to have one come through and to sign one at the end of the season will probably tell you where we are at this moment in time. Luke Hussey has come in. He's grabbed the hold of it, and he's doing a tremendous job in the background. And he's talking about the batch of kids that are coming up from the back. So there's a bit of talent in the academy that just needs nurturing, that just needs coaching, that just needs guidance. And hopefully in a couple of seasons' time, the academy will be in a much stronger position than it is. But at this moment in time, no, I'll have to be honest, I haven't got too excited about too many of the young lads in the academy system. The one player that excited me was Kiban. Kiban has come in and he's taken his chance with both hands. Now, I would say to the academy kids, Go and look what Cabana's done. Go and grab it and go and take that opportunity week in, week out when you're in the academy, training-wise, playing-wise, professional-wise, raising standards, raising fitness levels, all those things that you need. And try and follow in Caban's footsteps, because you've got a manager and you've got an assistant manager who have a history in development, who have a history in throwing young kids, young players into first-team squads. And we will do the same here if the players, if we deem they're up to it and they're good enough.
Can I ask you about one more player, Harrison Bright? He obviously is a right back, and he has a year or two left on his contract, I believe. With the departure of Cameron Norman, there is a vacancy down that right-hand side. Could Harrison potentially be the one to step up, or could he have more game time next season?
I'll let you know 4:45 on Saturday.
You got to be careful. Undy might be listening. We don't be giving anything away.
Harrison will play on Saturday, and he'll be given opportunity and he'll be given chance. And I don't know when you say quite obviously a right wing back. I quite like him as a right centre half as well, to be honest. So look, he can fill two positions, but he'll definitely be given a chance. He'll get some game time as well over the course of pre-season. And like I say to the lads, if you get a jersey, go and keep the jersey. Don't give the bloody thing back to me.
I'm glad we mentioned Harrison, because I want to impress on you his character, because he comes over to the marquee and does what we call the warm-up before you take over and do all the magic over Newport County. And he comes over there and he's brilliant with the kids. He's always on time. He's really giving over there, and I can't speak highly enough of Harrison. So I know I've asked previous managers to bear that in mind and give him the feedback, but just thought it was fair that I raised it with you as well, that he's a little cracker over the warm-up, and we thank him for that.
He's brilliant. I have a lot of time for him, and I genuinely hope he goes and grabs the opportunity that Luke was alluding to there, and I hope he gets a jersey, and I hope he stays in the team. I would love nothing better, because like I say, I've loved working with him since the day I met him. He trains proper, as you mentioned. His discipline is standard, and the way he is with people, he's just a proper lad for me. And I like him. I have a lot of time for him, and it was good. Like, we've got Harrison come through last year, Caban comes through this year. If we can get that conveyor belt on a regular basis, we've given Evan Cadwaldo our opportunity as well.
I was going to mention him. He had a trial at Watford, didn't he? Couple of months ago.
He went to Watford, I think he went into Watford I think he was in there for 6 weeks,
Yeah, what does that say about him? And that's hopefully... Is he still at the club, I believe?
No. He was released, and that's why he was able to go out on trial.
Okay, Lamsie, throw it back to you.
I threw me a little bit. We set aside football. We love talking about it. We love talking about Newport County. But you pick up things along the way, and you don't know whether they're myths or rumours. Is there anything in kind of that, like was said back in the 90s, you can't win anything with kids? But you said earlier that at Bristol, that seems to be quite a big part of Bristol's success. Is this what Newport County could be about this season?
Young or old, look, if you're good enough, you play, and that's certainly always been my mantra. Whether you're an old timer or whether you're a young timer, it doesn't matter. But you've got to nowadays. I suppose the hard part of being a manager is you getting that balance right. Because you can flood the first team with a load of kids and you don't win on a Saturday, and all of a sudden going out the gates, I'm getting pelters and I'm getting all sorts chucked at me, and it's all my fault, and it's all this, that and the other as a manager. So you got to get the balance right, and I've got to get results, because we all know what happens, and let's we've all been in the game a long time. We all know what happens when you don't get results. Now, if dropping a kid in and out helps his progression, helps his development, that's great. The frustrating part for me is I'm trying to develop these kids in training sessions alone. I need to get the club right. I need to get the football right. I need to get the first team right. I need to get results on the football pitch, and probably just steady the ship before I start turning my attention to other parts of the football club, of the football side of the club as well. So, look, I'm a winner. I'm born like that. I'm bred like I want to win games. If a kid is good enough, we'll put him in. Not a problem. We'll give him a chance. We'll give him an opportunity, as we've done with Caban. But ultimately, we've got to ask ourselves the question: what do we really want here at the football club? Do we want to be winning football matches, or do we want to be blooding young kids into the first team to move on, or to sell on, or to have them walk away at the end of the season? So there's a fine balance. There is a fine balance, and at the end of the day, look, the hammer comes down on me if I don't get that balance right. But I'm all for giving the young lads a go. I'm all for giving them a chance.
It's something that we picked up in your post-match press conference as well, that towards the end of it, you was just saying, right, okay, we're in safety, but now you've got a big job to do. And I know we'll want to talk a little bit about that a little bit later, but can I just say thanks for your honesty on that bit, because it's coming up, and that just means that it's something that we do want to go into. Let's lighten it for a second then. So this time last year, were you on the beach somewhere enjoying life? Then suddenly it crawls into October. What happened? How did you get to be seeing Luke on a fairly regular basis, Stephen twice in your life, working with Louis, and having to put it with me? So how did this all come about?
I don't know. I must have won the lotto or something, to be honest. But no, I was out and about, and I go to games, and I go in and out training grounds and things like that. I had a really good time at Sheffield United as well, and I've at the 23s we won the league, and I didn't want to stay at Sheffield United. I wanted to maybe have another go at first team football, and I took a gamble and I took a chance there, because look, that side of things could have been safe, could have been easy. I could have stayed with 23s, I could have stayed on the development side of things, but I took a gamble, I took a chance, probably backed my own ability, if the truth be known. It was frustrating. I've had a couple of offers, couple of job interviews and things like that. I'd 1 or 2 offers, and it wasn't quite right for me, because I knew I was probably going into to something that I just couldn't fix, or I just couldn't correct. And when I got a phone call would I come and have an interview here at Newport County. Funny enough, I'd actually watched them up at Harrogate. I was doing a scouting report for, I can't mind who it was for, but I was doing a scouting report on Harrogate, and they were playing Newport, and Newport had won 4-0. And I come away from that game that day, and bear in mind, they took the foot off the pedal in the second half. They should have run out bigger winners. And I thought, wow, what a set of lads, what a group of boys. That's a team that can go and do something and challenge. And I thought, and I never once gave them a second look or a second thought, because I thought they were going to push on. But then I got a phone call, and I was asked, would I consider coming down and having a conversation? And it's like most jobs, most things happen. You get a phone call, you come down, you have a sit down, you have a conversation with them, and they phone you up, they ask you to come back. It was stringent. They'd done their due diligence. I was asked probably more awkward questions there than Luke asks me every week. So it was a tough interview, to be honest, but it was enjoyable, and I really enjoyed it. And when they offered us, they didn't really have to offer. I would have jumped on my bike, or I would have walked down, to be honest, because I just, the DNA, the chemistry, the club, the city, the surrounding areas, I just thought, yeah, that's right up my street. That'll do for me, and all them variables tick the box for me, and I just said, yeah, I'll take that on, no problem. And I was always confident, and I have to be honest, and I hope this doesn't come across as being arrogant, but I was always confident when I came through the front door of what I seen in that group of boys at Harrogate, and the lads that were in that change room, knowing or seeing or playing against or coaching against them over the years. I was very, very confident coming in. We definitely needed to get to January to get a couple of new recruits, new faces, fresh blood in the building, and just to change the dynamics of the team. And I think January helped us immensely as well, to be fair, getting to that window. But credit to the players, credit to them what they've done. They were absolutely brilliant for me, to be quite honest with you.
When you did the Meet the Manager event, which me and Lamsie were at, you spoke a bit about when you came into the club, you've seen the team low on confidence and short on fitness. Were they like two of the things that you saw when you came in that needed to be improved? And was there anything else that you thought needed improving?
Yeah, I didn't think they were playing League 2 football, to be honest. I thought they were playing, without being disrespectful again, I just thought they were playing fantasy football, management football, computer football. I just thought they were trying to do things that, A, they couldn't. And I could probably see in the body language, maybe experience tells you that they were probably uncomfortable doing one or two things. And that's not being critical of anybody or anything. That is just an observation. And my years of experience, that I could just see things like that. So I noticed a lot there that I'd picked up at Bristol Rovers as well, a lot of positives, and I tried to work on the positives. I tried to change and hone in on them positives and change those negatives, change the mindset, the mentality. But there was more than enough in that change room when I come through the door, to be quite honest. Confidence, self-belief, fitness levels, a direction to that game, just trying to get the basics into them. I.e., the lads laughed when I come in. My first team talk, I think, was keep it out this end and put it in that end. And the lads are all looking and like, Jesus, we were expecting a little bit more than that. And like I said, no, honestly, lads, it's a simple game. Just keep it out that end. If you're defending, you defend. If you have to put it into the flats or into the water, put it into the car park. I've never seen anybody score from the top of the stand or in the car park. And you strikers, when you get an opportunity, you get a chance, go and take it. You midfielders, make sure you press and put everything into your game. Go and nearest man press the ball has been a big plus point for us as well. So they were probably the 3, 4, 5 little basic things we implemented in a training and on the pitch. And we slowly grew. We grew. I think first game was a clean sheet. Second game we were very, very it was a clean sheet as well, wasn't it, at Mansfield?
Yes.
Third game we were very unlucky not to beat Northampton. We should have 94 minutes. But you could actually see in that Northampton game how strong we were for the first hour, how strong we were for the first 65 minutes. And then all of a sudden we started to dip. And then our concentration levels started to go. Our self-belief then, our low confidence, that all started to kick in. And I kind of knew we were going to concede because I've been in the game a while and I could smell it, I could feel it coming. But if them lads, or if we had been given 5 points from 9 away at Northampton, away at Mansfield and at home to Colchester, I think I would have snapped your hand off coming in the front door, to be quite honest with you. So I couldn't get too despondent with them. And their return and their output and their work rate and their attitudes was spot on. So I knew from the first couple of games that we had a lot to build on and we had a lot of positivity to work with.
Yeah, you talk about the positivity and things like that. Well, one of the things I've noticed you said is your crawl, walk, run mantra. Where did that come from? Can you talk us through that quickly?
Well, I thought that would have been a natural progression in life. When you're born, you crawl, don't you? And then you learn to walk, and you can't run before you walk. So, without being too clever or too mardy, that's probably just stages in life. And a lot of businesses. I've done my pro license, and you learn certain things like that, how businesses work, and a lot of businesses adopt that mantra. And I suppose coming in at a football club, you'd be crazy to start thinking you could run before you complete the crawling and the walking stage. So, yeah, look, we're a long way from running. We're still probably trying to get through our crawling stage, but it's just. I don't know, maybe one of them daft Irish sayings or daft sayings that I've adopted, but I find it quite useful when I try to get ahead of myself, when I want more, when I'm demanding more, and when I'm getting frustrated because I'm not getting more. I have to keep reminding myself the stages that you have to get through to probably reach the top or to probably get yourself up and running.
How far away in Newport County from walking? Are we major gaps or is it just a small jump?
Well, I'll go back to I think it was the first question that I was asked regarding the transfers. I believed and I thought coming into the end of the season, I believed we were starting to get on to phase 2 or get on to the walking stage. I believed we were growing. I believed we were improving, and I thought I was adding to the squad that was there already. And that really excited me. To be honest. And I thought I need a right wing back. And then I just need to add a couple of players, and those that have been with us all along know what we're wanting, know what we're needing. So we got a head start. And then all of a sudden, then the lads then decided that they wanted to move on to other clubs, and they for whatever their own personal reasons, they didn't accept the contract offers, and they wanted to go bigger. And that's football. We accept that. I'm probably looking at a number of signings to make us stronger. It's not going to happen overnight. We'll see how we go. We'll see how we start, and then we'll assess it from there. And I might be batting down the hatches until we get into January. So that might be another course of action that I might have to take. But look, like I said, the ball is in the players' courts. Go and enjoy yourself. Go and represent this football club to the best of your ability. Go and prove why you're here. Go and prove what you're here for, and go and achieve something in your career. And that's the messages I give to the players all the time.
You came into Newport County and you brought Joe with you. He came into the studio, and again, it's a slightly different time of the season, so we didn't have so many technical kind of questions to ask. So we just mainly about his career, and we'd love to bring you in to talk a little bit more about your career, certainly the early days of it as well. But talk to me about Joe. What does Joe bring to you in your words?
Joe is a calming influence on me. He doesn't let me smash as many teacups and as many plates as I used to and kick as many bins. He's very calming, he's very cool, he's very collected. He's very, very analytical. He does a lot of work for me on the analyst side of things with Conor McGreckin, the club analyst. And he breaks a lot of the games up and the clips and things like that. And he's just he's a good coach, a good man, a good person. He's a good people's person. And his mannerisms and the way he conducts himself around the club is top notch. And I think the players really enjoy working with him. There's a mutual respect. Joe thinks the world of the players, and I think the players like him. But yeah, I'd say he's a calming influence on me more than anything. And he's very, very analytical, and he delves into the detail. He digs deep into detail. Whereas I just see and I just go, I made a decision on it. But Joe won't. Joe will dig deep, and he'll go deeper and deeper and find out why such actions were taken by a player. Whereas I just judge it on the action. So it's brilliant. He's a great bloke to work with. He's a great bloke to work with. I've had some really good times with him, and we've also had some bad times. He's also been a manager, so he knows what you go through. And he's been a coach. He's done all three. He's assistant manager, and a coach, development coach as well. So he's got a wealth of experience behind him as well. So it's a bit like good cop and bad cop. I'm the good cop, Joe's the bad cop. So
are you sure it's that way round? Are you sure?
Well, that's what the lads say. So I can only go off what the lads say.
We used to have a chill out show between 10 and 2 a.m. We just don't bother with that now. We just replay the Joe Dunn interview. You know, I'm not saying it sends people to sleep, because that's not what I mean, but there's a very soothing, calming effect that he has. He was great with us. So talk to us about Chris Flynn. So Chris helped out on a voluntary basis for a bit, I understand, and now he's part of the setup. Walk me through Chris and what he does and what he brings to you as well.
Well, Chris, we're very lucky to have Chris, to be fair. He came in to help me and to help Joe, and more importantly, to help the football club on a voluntary basis, which I thought was admirable, which I thought was quality. He's got championship experience. Obviously, he's Chris Hutton's. He works well with Chris. He was Chris's head of recruitment for a few years, for a number of years. He worked in the Premier League. He's worked in the Championship. So I dare say he's used to dealing with bigger and larger financial contracts and financial agreements than he will find in League One or League Two. So he's got a great eye for the player, and he does most of our work on the opposition. He does most of our work on the recruitment side of things. He covers probably anything between 8, 10, 12 games per week. So when we're looking for a player or when we're needing something, he's there. He gives us a long list of names. He looks after the players, obviously, that the housings and he just goes above and beyond, really, to be quite honest with you. His main job is the opposition, scouting the opposition and recruitment, heading up recruitment. But he's taken over the contracts situation. He's taken over the players, anything to do with the players, really. He oversees all of that and just lends his experience to it. So he's not only come in to help me or to work with me or to try and get his results. He's doing a brilliant job in the background at the football club as well. And more importantly, come in at a really important time, as did Gareth Evans, Kelly Anderson I must mention as well, who come in at a really, really important time when we were practically losing staff. We were losing people left, right and centre. And just to hold the club together, just to keep it going and to keep it on the right track at such a crucial time. I have to take my hat off to Chris Kelly and to Gareth in how they got us all through it, because you guys only see us on a Saturday afternoon. it was tough. It was tough. It was really tough. I thought we could get some game time into some people and some players when they were coming back from fitness, but it was a really, really tough period. And Chris, Gareth and Kelly stepped up to help the football club. I must mention Pete Madigan and Gareth and Crookie as well, Mark Crooks as well. Between us, we've guided the club, and we've got the club into a far healthier place than when we found it.
We've never known such turbulence. So we were, this time last year, a great relationship with Gavin, speaking to Darren, and again, it all seemed really, really cool. And then suddenly things fell apart, and fans, they were just didn't seem to be understanding that these things tend to happen. So Kevin got offered a job with Newport Live, so the conflict of interest had to go. Gavin had, ill health, had to go. And it was just this really weird time. And then you're in the middle of this. So, again, towards the end of last season, you expressed it. You've told us today what's been going on. Let's look on the bright side. So, how far are the off-field operations getting to a state where you could be a lot happier with them? Are we getting there with it?
Oh, we're slowly getting there, yeah. Listen, the club is not as bad as what people think. Every football club goes through tough times, and that's part and parcel of the challenge. That's part and parcel of the enjoyment. So I hope I'm coming across, I'm trying to speak factual, but I'm hoping I'm coming across as positive, because I don't want this to be a negative or an excuse making, because I don't do that, and that's not me. There's a massive challenge there, and it's a great challenge. And it's one for us all, not only myself, not only the board, not only the people in the background, the staff, the players, but it's one for the fans to jump on the back of as well. And it's one for us all to circle the wagons, get together, roll our sleeves up and get right behind this football club. Because yes, we have had a tough 6 months, 12 months, whatever the case may be. Yes, we've gone through the mill, but hopefully we've come through it. We're out the other side. And it'll be somebody else's turn to do that, what we've got through. And that's football. It goes in cycles. Look, if I guess, I don't know, if the club was in a perfect place, I don't know whether I'd be sitting here as manager. So I have to say, well, I'm okay with what's happened, because I've been given a tremendous opportunity and a job that I absolutely love. So I'm a lucky man. But yeah, going forward, it's all gone. Whatever's gone on, I don't really tend to get involved in it. I try to steer clear of it. I try to concentrate on the football side of things. But I would say there's far more positives at the football club than there is negatives. If you want to look for negatives, you'll find them. I tend to work off the positive side of things, and I'm really, really positive going forward, going into the new season, and with the longevity of the football club. And fingers crossed, I'm proved right.
I think what you've brought with your level of honesty is it's shone a light on what's been going on, and that then gives fans a chance to do whatever they want to do with it. But some fans will sit and moan, other fans will get up and do something. And it just seems that there's things happening. So I know that there's going to be some sort of, hopefully, players trust fund set up so everyone can contribute towards maybe a player budget. I think that's going through the trust at the moment. You've got talks of people just saying, right, you've got trust membership, you might be on this level, maybe if you've got the money, go for a higher level. This is great. This shows it's got to show you not only the faith that we've got in Newport County as a club, but the faith we've got in you as well.
Well, first and foremost, we must speak about the board. The board they didn't have to come out and speak openly and be as transparent as they were, but the care that they had and the love that they had for the club and the relationship that the fans have with the club as well, it was important that they did, and that was very brave. That was brave, and they deserve to be commended for that, because you would see up and down the country an awful lot of football clubs. They work in the background. Fans don't have i.e. Man United. Nobody has a clue what's going on there, and there's no communication between fans and board and things like that, and it's distant ownerships and things like that. But I think you've got people here who genuinely care, who genuinely love the club, and who genuinely want to see the club progress and do well. Now that we've got over that little period, now that we know the issue, now that we know there's a little bit of a problem, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to, as you say, we're going to sit and moan? I could sit and moan at home and the wife would just kick me out of the house. So let's not be sitting and moaning. Let's not be feeling down on our luck and feeling that the world is against us. That happens. That's part and parcel of life. Hopefully we've come through it. Hopefully we can see light at the end of the tunnel, and hopefully it's behind us, because rest assured another football club will be going through that in a few months. There's a lot of football clubs out there a lot worse than us, and I actually think we're in a really, really decent place, to be honest, going forward, because we actually know what we're looking at. We know what we're dealing with. So that for me is a massive plus point. Now we can do something about it. It's far better it's out there and it's in the open than it's hidden in the background, lurking in the bushes, and it jumps out on us. We know, and I have to take my hat off to those who've have come out, been transparent, been honest, and they've been 110%. Pete Madigan, Mark Crook, as I mentioned, never once have they told me any lies or anything untoward. They've been 110% honest, supportive in the background, and what they've done a few weeks ago, come out and spoke to the fans, was very, very brave, very admirable, and it shows the level of care.
Brilliant.
Yeah, just briefly on last season, what are your reflections on last season, and what are the areas of improvement for you going into this new season?
Well, you asked me that question now. If you had have asked me that question immediately after the Crew game, I would have given you an absolute, totally different answer.
I believe I asked you, didn't I?
Well, I tell you what.
You probably did, yeah.
I think I did.
We should have been looking at a top half finish, and I was fuming, really, really angry, and I took it with me for a little bit of the summer, and I shouldn't have really, to be honest. I took it home with me, and I should have left it, parked it, but I've got over it. But hey ho, it's do you know, I think the boys were brilliant last year. I think they were very, very good. There was games we were unplayable. There was games that we were terrible, but they showed different sides of them. They showed different ways of playing. Some of the goals that we scored, I could go back to the one at Doncaster where I thought it was an unbelievable goal, and we trained for that, winning the ball, transition, winning the ball in midfield, the midfield combination, down the side, and midfield, a cut back to a midfielder on the edge of the box. And when you train for moments like that and they come off on the football pitch, you really feel proud of the lads and the way they work. But to go to the Gillinghams, the Colchesters, who went in January and thought they were going to say cheerio and goodbye to Newport County. You know, they thought they were going to spend and leave us behind. To finish above the two clubs as well, who tried to leave us behind, shows how good and how strong we were. I was really, really, really impressed with the second half of the season, where Omar Bogle's performances stepped up to the plate and picked some goals up. And again, the common thing there was he was in between the sticks. He wasn't doing all his work on the width and out wide, and just getting him in between the sticks into them goal scoring areas. You know, losing Declan was a big blow to us. Declan Drysdale was a big blow, not only to myself, to the team, to the club, but to the dressing room as well. His character there was tremendous. And if you looked at it, we lost Adam Lewis as well. So we've not had the best of luck with players, you know, and injuries. At one stage, I think last season, for probably a whole month, I didn't have Declan, I didn't have Adam, I didn't have Ozenzala. But not once did we make excuses. Not once did we use bad luck. Not once did we use. I maybe got annoyed. I maybe had a little nibble at injuries and referees and things like that. But I don't think
we did notice.
No, we did notice.
Not at all.
No.
Come on, come on. We do not get the rub of the green, do we? Come on, surely you got to agree with me there.
Yeah.
But I think it was a really, really good, strong second half of the season. I think the boys really stepped up to the plate, and I just think that little bit of period working with them and getting our messages home to them and what we wanted from them, I think they've taken it on board really, and they went well, to be quite honest with you. I can't speak highly enough of them. They were absolutely tremendous for me. And again, like I say, we've lost a secretary, we lost a chairman, we lost a physio, we lost our S&C, and we lost a couple of players through injury. But we trying to keep that all away from the players was a tough job. Trying to protect them from it, and then negative vibes and you'd negative maybe headlines and negative people wanting to speak negatively, and trying to keep that away from the players as well, trying to protect a striker who was getting battered, getting abused, not only from the opposition defenders but from certain other sections. We had a lot to deal with, but we got through it. We battened, as I said earlier in the interview, we circled the wagons, we battened down the hatches, we rolled our sleeves up, and we believed in each other. We believed in the strength of the group, and I think that shone through later on in the season, the back end of the season. But there was the back end of the season, there was a few moments, Mansfield at home, Harrogate at home, Crewe at home, that really got to me. Shall I say? Am I saying that politely? Yeah.
Yeah, you've done very well.
I hope that comes across politely.
Obviously, as we're on the radio. Well, yeah, we can see what that meant.
I just think they were games we chucked away. They were games we made silly errors in that should have been even more points on the board for us. But look, that's League Two football.
Yeah, I think the phrase that we've heard a lot from previous managers and yourself, individual errors, and what can you do about that? I think we've asked loads of people watching about individual errors. Have you got a solution to it?
Well, you work through it. You get better individuals. I probably pulled the boots on myself. I think two of them are realistic. One is not. So, look, individual errors. It happens at all levels. It happens in the Premier League. It happens at international level. Individual errors. Sometimes that's lack of concentration. Sometimes that's due to pressure. But yeah, look, the lads minimised their individual errors, and that was something that we said when we came in the front door, because I think it was 14 games into the season and they'd made far too many errors already in them first 14 games, and that was one thing I said when I stood in front of the lads. Cut out your individual errors, work harder on the training ground, your concentration levels, train the brain, because if you don't train the brain, you sleep in, you fall asleep, you start doing daft things. So I think we got the other side of them individual errors. You're never going to eradicate every individual error, but I think we got to the other side of them. I think the margins of error before we come in and the margins of individual errors after we come in were massively decreased.
So there's physical fitness and there's mental fitness as well, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. Obviously, we're living in Fantasy Football League at the moment, so you've had Adam Lewis, you've had Aaron Lewis. Have you ever thought about a Luke Lewis?
Yeah.
Don't give me another Lewis. I have to admit, and the lads will tell you this, the lads actually find it quite funny, I'm terrible with names. And we had a lad in from Cardiff, Chanka Zimba, and for the first couple of weeks, I just could not get his name proper. I just get so invested in training, I just get so invested in the games that I just can't get names right. It takes me a long while to get names right. I've been married for what, 20 odd years, and I occasionally get my wife's name wrong, and that lands me in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
I have the same issue with your good self. Is it Coughlan? I was struggling for weeks and I got there in the end.
That's minor details. That's pronunciation.
I'm just being honest and levelling with you. Okay, so we're in pre-season and we got a lot of questions about it, but we're running out of time. So I'm going to try and cut this down a little bit. Pre-season delivery. So you've just got back. What's the first thing you do with the lads? Is it a bleep test? Stephen Wright, is it a bleep test?
No, them days are gone. Some clubs will still use them. Some clubs will use them. We had obviously training program built that we use, and I've seen used. I've seen being successful. I've probably nicked it from Premier League team. So we were Premier League champions back then in 1995. So I probably robbed theirs, and I've carried that on all along. So we do genuinely get a lot of the ball pre-season. The days of up and down hills and the days of street running and road running and things like that, and just running laps and going around in circles is long gone, I believe. We do a lot of work pitch lengths. We do a lot of work box to box. That would be the running we would do, because there's method behind the madness. You go up for a corner, you got to sprint back, you then got to sprint up to the other box. So box to box is realistically the length that you will run in a football match. So we tend to do a lot on that. We do a lot of football based fitness works. So I don't know. You'd probably have to ask the lads, but I think they've enjoyed it. They've enjoyed seeing the ball. Players always like when the ball comes out. The goals are in as well. The goalkeepers have joined in. When was Monday? I don't know what day we're on today, but yesterday. So goalkeepers, that was a 4 session with us on Monday. So we'd done 3 or 4 sessions ourselves with the lads, and the goalkeepers were separate, and then we brought them back together yesterday. First thing we'll do is weigh them. First thing we do is test them. First thing we do is the body fats. So we do all that. We do the sprint gates, and then we have a 1,000 metre test. So all that on the first day gives us a gauge as to what they've done, had they done their off-season programme or not. Gives us a gauge as to where they are, where they were when they left, and where they are when they've come back. And I have to take my hat off to our lads. Each and every one of them have come back in tip-top shape. Even the manager has come back in real good shape.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you, how has it changed since your days as a player pre-season?
You see the ball. You see that would be the first thing. There's a lot of I'll go back to what we mentioned earlier on about Joe, analytics. There's a lot of numbers, whereas probably back in my day it was just blow the whistle and run. Whereas now there's an awful lot of number based. We have these GPS tracker systems on the players, so it can actually tell us their high speed running, how far they're running, how quick they're running. It gives us the meters, the distance that they're running. So all of that then gives us a gauge on when they're fatiguing, and what certain zones they're in. So I suppose, if I'm being honest, sports science has maybe taken the game to a new level, where previously I heard some tremendous stories, or horrendous stories I should say, about players having to run marathons, run 10 miles, run beaches, run up mountains, carrying rucksacks. Luckily enough, I was never subjected to that type of abuse from a manager. But a Paul Sturrock pre-season is very, very difficult, but the balls are included. So I suppose I was lucky that I never had those type of pre-seasons. But ours is well thought out. It's well managed. It's well supervised. There's method behind the madness, and it's very, very much game related. Any action you do in pre-season, you will probably do over the course of 90 minutes in a game, apart from the boxing.
Yeah, we were going to mention the boxing because was it Priestley that mentioned in his interview that
Joe Dunn?
It was Joe that mentioned the boxing, wasn't it? That has that surprised some of the players? Because have you got in the ring with them?
Well, we don't actually. The last player I was in a ring with was about 4 years ago, Johnson Clark Harris. He wouldn't train properly, and he needed to. He needed to come in on Wednesdays, so I used to just chuck him the gloves, and we used to just knock lumps out of each other. But I'm a little bit too old for all that now. But no, we do circuits. We get the gloves out, we get the pads out, and the lads get a sweat on. The mirrors in the gym steam up. The music does be blaring. It's just a good atmosphere. It's a good, hard, honest, solid working environment. And I love when the mirrors steamed up and the lads are all shouting at each other and cheering each other on, and the sweat is dripping out and the music is on. It's I'm probably turning people off their dinner now, but yeah, it's a real, honest, hard working environment.
You said about you've heard stories about people running up mountains, running on beaches. Is this something that we'd see out of a Rocky training montage?
Well, that's probably it. That's a great analogy, because if you looked at the Rocky when he fought Drago, the two the comparisons in training camp, that was probably back in the day, and the Drago camp is probably now. So that would probably sum up the question perfectly, actually.
Are you all right with Rocky films? We got to check. He's a young whippersnapper. Have you seen all of them?
I haven't, no.
Okay, there's homework for you. There you go. We've just set you some homework.
I'm sure you'll...
Every day's a school day, even though you finish school.
Wow.
I'm sure you'll question me at the first home game of the season or whenever you see me next. Anyway, the fixtures are out. Talking of games coming up, fixtures are out. Any particular highlights for you? I know for us, a couple of fans here in the studio, the one I know I look forward to the most is obviously Wrexham. That derby's coming back in League 2. Is there any games you look out for? We're playing the roadside as well, Bristol Rovers, and the Papa John's Trophy as well. Any
I see one fixture and one fixture only, and that is Accrington on August the 5th.
Brilliant.
And you cannot ask me to look beyond that. You know the rules. A manager's life is very, very short-lived. Look at the next game.
If you could look wider than that. because you mentioned earlier about the local derby that you played in. As and when we get to Wrexham, and maybe Forest Green, maybe. Can you get that kind of same spirit that you had with Sheffield? Because obviously they're both in the same city, where Newport and Wrexham aren't, Newport and Forest Green aren't. Can you recreate that feeling? Well, is it good to recreate that feeling?
I don't think I can recreate it, that even if they were in the same city. I think the fans create that. I think the people, the supporters create that. The city creates that. I don't think any one person can create that. So they're not in our city. I don't particularly, I know you guys local and things like that, and it's great to have. It's great to have some local trips, because we don't have travel. We don't have to do some miles. Our fans, I tell you what, you got to take your hat off to them. We went up to Barrow, and then a couple of weeks later on a Tuesday night we went to Hartlepool, and it was the I don't know how to do it. I just don't know how to do it. Up to Barrow and then to Hartlepool, unbelievable. But yeah, to give them those type of games is brilliant. To give them something close is brilliant. Albeit I don't get it, because Wrexham is 2.5 hours away, so I don't see I get the Welsh thing. I get we've been a football league team for the last 10 years and they haven't. I get all that scenarios. Let them worry about us. We won't be worrying about them. What they do is their own business. But where have we been for the last 10 years? They're trying to catch up with us.
Okay, last listener question from Brian Collins. I'm going to give you the way he's written it, and we'll try and pull it apart from there then. Is our target a top 3 finish? And is the team capable of challenging for the top half?
So is that a top 3 or a top half finish you want, Brian? I'm not sure, but
I know what my answer would be. I'd be aiming to win the league. That's what I'd be doing, but
that's a really, really tough question. Really, really, listen, you want to win every game. You want to, what you want and what you get are two different things. Are we in that place at this moment in time? Can we? There's 101 questions there to ask. If you come back and ask me that in 3 months' time, I might be able to give you a better indication. But like I say, I'll go back to what Luke said earlier on, crawl, walk and then run. I don't think we're at the walking and the running stage yet, but give me another 3 months. Give me a little bit of support, a little bit of help, and I might be able to answer that question more appropriately at a later date.
Okay. We noticed that you don't like losing. It's become a bit apparent. So we're going to throw it to Luke, because this is a chance for you to win.
Oh,
Luke.
Well, actually, I believe it's Stephen.
You don't.
You.
If I lose, you value your equipment, do you? Yeah, because I don't like losing.
Okay, so we've got this thing that we've started to do now. So we haven't got any money. We're a voluntary project, so and you've given it, and Louis been again. So to say thank you for that, we have got a brand new Newport City Radio branded mug. So they're brand new. They literally came off the press on Friday, right? So you two are having the first ones, right?
Brilliant.
Yeah. Okay.
Or are we the mugs?
I would suggest that. However, the answer to the question might do it. So it seems fair that one of our listeners put in a strange question. We thought, we'll use it. So here we go for both of you. Yeah. This is Mark Phillips. To win the mug, why is marmalade called marmalade and not orange jam?
Do you want to go first?
Go on, Louis.
Well, I don't know the answer, but I can give an estimate of what I think.
That's good.
I'd love to say it's something to do with Paddington Bear, but I don't think it is.
Do you know what? That's actually better than what's written down here.
Yeah. Hang on.
Go on. Sorry, Louis. Go on. Keep going.
No, I'd imagine it's something to do with Paddington Bear, but I don't think it is. I bet it ages back way before my time, and I'm going to hand over to the gaffer.
I would have said because Paddington said so. That would have been the simple answer.
Okay. The beautiful thing about social media, right, is that someone put that question in. I thought we're not going there, but then someone gave an answer.
They did.
So Paddington actually answered this question in the film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe this is where they've got it from.
Do we know what Paddington said? Did he?
I haven't seen the film. Sorry, I haven't seen Paddington. Shame
on
me.
I'll ask my young daughter when I.
And he's the film expert as well.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready? Here we go.
Somebody replied, and this is, I don't know if this is the answer, but it's a answer. Preserves made from sugar and any citrus fruit is not a jam. Just to add further evidence, the person who said this said that they're a retentive old person The word marmalade derives from the Portuguese word marmelos, which is a quince-based paste. So there you go. The Paddington answer was far better.
You
for
took
me.
that out of my mouth. I was
Yeah.
about to say,
Word for word. I could see
and
it.
then you
Yeah.
just. Oh, well,
Yeah.
there you go.
What has my life come to? I sat here listening to Marmalade.
Our gaffer's fallen asleep. That's the last thing we need to do. The other thing we need to check, before you give them the Newport City Radio mugs, right, are they bubble wrap? Because we don't want Graham throwing them around. So you can only use this in the presence of Joe Dunn, okay? Is that a deal? Thank you both for coming in.
Thank you
Really
very
appreciate
much.
it. Thank you very much for your time. We'd love to have you back again, Graham, to talk about the softer stuff as well, because there's a lot of questions about the time of year that we're in, so it'd be great to have you back. We wish you all the very best for the brand new season. We're going to be there every single step of the way. In fact, Luke will probably be stalking you as normal.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. The next episode will be a pre-season look forward in Amber on Sunday the 30th of July at 3 p.m.
Right here, right now.
Newport City Radio.